All right, this is Roshunda Buchanan with 2Unique magazine here with Miss Shaleta Dunn. We're highlighting celebrities and leaders who are giving back to the community. I am going to read just a short bio about Miss Shaleta Dunn before we get into our questions. Miss Dunn is a transformational leader, strategic executor, connector, and change agent. She is the Senior Director of Program Services and Supplier Diversity, responsible for guiding strategy and vision of Vizient's industry-leading supplier diversity program, enabling members to champion inclusion in their supply chains and accelerate economic growth in local communities. Welcome, and tell us where you're from.
I'm originally from the Midwest, born in Chicago, raised in Milwaukee, which literally is 45 minutes away from each other. And I now live in the Dallas area.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me now, just to give you a little information about me, I have worked in supplier diversity and doing business with the city. So I'm very excited about this interview. And I want to know from you, because procurement is such a complex program, how important is it for African American businesses to apply for this program?
Oh, that's such a good question, Roshunda. So I'm glad that you mentioned the complexities of procurement. I will tell you that oftentimes people don't really understand the work that goes into supplier diversity. And it really is aligning not only with those procurement practices of an organization, but it's also aligning to the culture and changing the culture, as well as ensuring that suppliers that are diverse don't have barriers to doing business with the organization. So when it comes to suppliers in particular, the importance of really engaging in a program like ours is for the benefit of them. As a supplier diversity professional, we are always actively looking for new suppliers. When I think of an entrepreneur, and I have to tell you, I celebrate entrepreneurs, especially diverse entrepreneurs, because it takes a huge risk to open a business, to go out on your own and leave whatever positions that you're in, whether it's corporate America or it happens to be a government organization. But to leave that and to start your own business. But we're here to help you. So that is exactly what our goal is. And oftentimes, people aren't even aware of supplier diversity professionals, but they are here to assist you. And just like our program is here to assist you, our goal is to help you to navigate our organization. Vizient is a GPO, and oftentimes people don't even know what a GPO is. Most often I tell in presentations, I spend a lot of time talking about what a GPO happens to be. And then further, who Vizient is, because we have so many different services and valuable resources that we provide, not only to our members, but also to the suppliers that work with us. And with that, we want to help diverse suppliers in particular navigate our organization to identify the opportunities. Our members span across the U.S., and also we've got some global opportunities too with members. And so with that, we're consistently finding those opportunities for our diverse suppliers. And that's why it's so important for suppliers to really work with us on our program, because of the way that we've designed it, because of the opportunities that we have, and also because it helps them to expand and diversify their business.
That is awesome. So, have you found any barriers that you've identified within your work in supplier diversity?
You know, I will tell you, we always see those as opportunities because our goal is to really change those to opportunities. So what we see is the number one, understanding the procurement organization. every organization's procurement operations is completely different. You start with either centralized or decentralized. You've got to understand what that means. And then you've got to understand who the business leaders are and the decision makers in the organization. And then from there, it's a really great opportunity for you to identify how you can assist the organization. If you are looking more so towards a corporate organization who's a publicly traded company, they're going to have information online because of their quarterly meetings. And you can listen to those. Those are public meetings because they are a publicly traded organization. If they happen to be an organization that's private, you're going to have to do a little bit more work. And so that's really where those relationships are going to be valuable to you, and identifying how you can connect with those folks, whether it's through an industry opportunity or it is through a local opportunity. That's really where those connections are going to be valuable for your organization. And then I always tell suppliers, take advantage of learning why you weren't the chosen supplier. Most often, organizations will give you that review. And so take advantage of it. What I've heard a lot of times from suppliers is, I don't want to be the one that makes the noise, or I don't want to seem like I am, a bad supplier and I'm asking for this. Well, I will tell you, the larger suppliers do ask for it, and it doesn't put a black mark on them or a bad mark on them. They always are able to go back and look at where they were not the best, and they can use the time to really take their organizations to the next level to prepare them for the next opportunity. And so I always tell suppliers, take that action, connect with the supplier diversity leader, find out how you can get that review so that you know exactly how you can take your organization to the next level. So I really see it as opportunities. It's opportunities to learn, to grow, to build capacity, and to contract with organizations that you're looking to work with.
Awesome. That's great information. I see that construction and architecture work is dominating the services or contract for hire services. Do you see an increase in demand for professional services in the near future?
As a matter of fact, we just launched a program that's called community contracting. Vizient Supplier Diversity Program has traditionally been a national program, and for very good reason, because our contracts service national members across the U.S. And so what we've done is we've really tried to make sure that, one, our programs are local, that they're local to what members' economic opportunities are and their economic impact. And so with that, we are seeing opportunities for a lot of purchase services. What we did intentionally is that we looked at our members, and I want to make sure that I share that our members happen to be hospitals, healthcare facilities, long-term care facilities, clinics. Those are, when we talk about members, that's who Vizient serves. And
Okay.
so when we're talking with them, they are always saying, from a community perspective, there are so many opportunities for us to engage suppliers within the purchase services area, whether it's accounting or, it is HR, or it is IT, or staffing, or other types of purchase services areas where they want local suppliers. They want someone that's right within their neighborhoods. They want to make sure the dollars stay within the neighborhoods that they're spending from their anchor institution. And we're doing that through our community contracting program by helping them to find and locate and contract with local diverse suppliers, especially in the purchase services area. Now, that doesn't leave out construction, though, because we know that hospitals build new facilities every single day, and they raise up new clinics every single day. And so when the construction opportunities do arise, we are actively looking for local, diverse suppliers who are in the construction industry.
Awesome. Well, with that said, what about I know that this is okay, I'm just going to say it. What are your thoughts about small nonprofit organizations being a part of this work? And I say that because I know it's due to the tax breaks, but I find that nonprofit organizations have strong business models,
Mhm.
and it's kind of difficult for them to participate or sit at the table, or they're finding ways now to kind of include them. So, what are your
Yeah. I will tell you that there are many hospitals who have developed their community impact plans. If you look at Kaiser, or even I think you're in the Memphis area, there are several hospitals who have really put out their community impact plan. And there is a space for nonprofits there. Oftentimes, the nonprofits are really aligned with those organizations to help them to engage the community. I know for Kaiser in particular, they have delivered events such as fresh food markets, and they've worked with nonprofits to do that. They've also done some other community impact opportunities where they have really involved those nonprofits. And I know that more organizations are doing that because we see supplier diversity in particular as an opportunity to impact the health of a community. And
Mhm.
so it really is a holistic view that we have, really in order to help to overcome many of those challenges that are within the communities that our members happen to serve in order to really create economic development. Those nonprofits bring a lot of that information and that experience and those stakeholders to the table. So we always see them as a connection to us. And I will tell you, for our supplier diversity program, we use many of those advocacy and certification organizations and align to them as partners so that we can find ways to work to grow the capacity of diverse suppliers, but to also educate us on what's happening within communities and how we can work together to really be a force in overcoming those challenges.
Awesome. Awesome. Great information. And can you tell me what makes your work unique, or yeah, what makes this work unique to you, and what made you decide to get into this type of work?
Yeah. So I have a commitment to my community. There's something about ensuring that my community, my family, um, my community as a whole, and I feel like my community is an extension of my family, that they have the opportunity to really grow and develop and be impacted. And I saw entrepreneurship as an opportunity to do it. Now, my work expands beyond supplier diversity. So my background also happens to be DE&I too. And so in many of my positions, I've also worked on the workforce side. So it's always for me about impacting my community. And I see diverse suppliers in particular as an opportunity to really take to the next level, not only generational wealth, and to really drive that and to create that, but also for the innovation and creativity to come out of the communities that they are in. Oftentimes, just by sitting down with a diverse supplier and having a discussion, you can see the wheels turning, and they definitely will come back to you with some great innovation. And we know in the healthcare industry in particular, that is something that is needed, but it's always happening. You know, we want to deliver the best options for patients. That's what our members want us to be able to help them with. And so engaging diverse suppliers to be able to help to do that, for me, is not only a good practice, but it's a passion that I have. And whatever industry I've been in, it's always associated with how can we do good? How can I impact communities? How can I help someone to see the value that they bring as an entrepreneur in particular?
Oh, I love it. Awesome. What are some initiatives that other cities should adopt to help educate African Americans on supplier diversity or doing business with the city?
I'll tell you what's happening across the US is that, and I'm going to take it from a state perspective and down to a city perspective, if you're okay with that. We've seen states adopt, especially for healthcare entities, mandates that require anchor institutions like healthcare organizations, hospitals in particular, to really drive supplier diversity efforts and demonstrate that they are putting those efforts forward. So if you happen to look up the California mandate, AB 962, which was just released about a year and a half ago, that mandate does require hospitals with a certain amount of operational spend to implement supplier diversity goals and measures and to demonstrate those measures in an annual report. Well, the state of Illinois has something very similar. The state of California has something very similar. I understand that DC's mayor is also implementing that too, requiring organizations, whether they are universities or hospitals, to really drive supplier diversity within their organizations. So it's opening up opportunities for diverse suppliers. From a city perspective, I think the education on supplier diversity is important. What you'll probably know because you've been in supplier diversity is when you look at a city, they're really looking for a contract compliance perspective. So, and most oftentimes it's in construction. So when it comes to a supplier understanding supplier diversity in particular, they're not really used to that lingo because they are really accustomed to contract compliance. Making sure that a prime supplier is utilizing a diverse supplier is really what they're accustomed to. There are times where suppliers will bid and they are a tier one, but oftentimes that is on a construction project again, versus more so of a purchase services opportunity. And so I think the education around the supplier diversity understanding as a whole and what it encompasses and how it works across not only private sector, but also public sector and how those are actually ingrained. There are a lot of opportunities where, you know, private sector are utilizing or happen to be a federal contractor. And so those requirements are crossing quite often. And I don't know how much suppliers are aware of that, especially diverse suppliers, because they don't have the workforce or the sales teams. And so I think it's a really great opportunity to educate them on what those differences happen to be, as well as what those likenesses happen to be, and then how they can grow their organizations based on the clients that they want to have in particular and that they desire.
That is awesome. And and this may be a little far-fetched, but my idea working in that environment, I always thought, are there opportunities to pitch proposals to companies who can provide maybe or who need services such as admins, human resources, because though a lot of those companies don't understand supplier diversity themselves.
Yeah.
Why not have some type of big portal where businesses can be inside this portal, almost like a recruiting hub, where you have organizations and companies pitching their businesses to the companies that have the contracts.
Yeah.
It's simple, but it makes sense.
It does, and it alleviates a lot of the tasks that a business owner, you've encountered those business owners that happen to be new, they're 2 to 5 years old, and they're still running the company, they're still doing the payroll, they're still doing all the bids. So to alleviate some of that and to really show their value, because we're always looking to make sure that the company is sustainable and that they have the capability. Well, if you've got something like that in place, it definitely does help a supplier in particular.
Oh, yes. Awesome. Um, Will there be opportunities to implement contract opportunities with employment agencies or women empowerment organizations to help spread the word? Or do you consider that's what we're doing now?
So, with our community contracting program, we're actively seeking out those community organizations to partner with. What we did is we identified the 50 largest cities. We identified the largest cities across the US. And then we identified those cities that had the most economic distress. And then we went and crossed that with all of our members, all of our hospitals in those different locations. We came up with the top 50 cities. And we are starting to tackle that list. It's a big list. And honestly, I didn't know that there were so many cities that were deemed economically distressed. And so, what we did is we started to tackle that, and we started with 4 locations. With Northern California, Chicago, the DFW area, and Atlanta. We are expanding into other locations, and I hate to call them cities because we really are. When you look at Atlanta, for instance, it's not just Atlanta. There's so many other suburbs and things like that where there are diverse suppliers, and those areas, there are many of them that happen to be distressed surrounding it. Same thing with Memphis, and same thing with Chicago, and so we're actively recruiting those suppliers, but we can't do that by ourselves. And so it's those community organizations that we are actively reaching out to, because you're the ones that are building the capacity of the suppliers. You're the ones that are going to help the suppliers to find employees as we help to grow them. And you're also the ones that are going to really help to get the word out. So we're actively reaching out to those organizations saying, hey, we'd like to partner with you. And here's what we're thinking. We'd love to know your thoughts about it. And we want to find a way in order to, as a result, engage suppliers that are local. But there's more to this down the road. It's not just giving them an opportunity and putting them on contract. It's really, in the end, helping them to be sustainable and to grow their companies.
Oh, that is so awesome. Thank you for that information. This is great stuff. And my last question is, what is on the horizon for you and your work in the community? Is there anything you want the viewers to know about you?
I will tell you, I am a change agent. So consistently, I am identifying exactly how we can progress in the work that we have and what we're doing to really take the work that we have to the next level. But keeping in mind the purpose, which is really to drive impact, economic impact in those communities. So that is what I'm always thinking about in the work that I do. But it aligns to our values at Vizient, to be inclusive, to be innovative. Those are many of the values that we embrace as an organization. And we're driving those home every single day in the work that we do. And that is not left out within our supplier diversity program. Our leaders have said to us it's important to them, as well as our members, our hospitals. And so we're working to deliver on that too. And from a personal standpoint, that's really where my passion lies. It's where I volunteer at. It's really, for me, important, as I said, to really impact my community.
So awesome. Thank you so much for your time. I have really enjoyed this conversation. It has been informative and educational, even for me personally. So thank you again. And I hope to speak and talk with you soon.
Oh, Roshunda, it was my pleasure. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to connecting again soon.
Awesome. You have a great day.
I will, you too, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Thank you. Bye bye.